Taiwan's administration will donate a shipment of 6 million face masks to countries affected by COVID-19. Thursday's announcement comes in addition to a previous offer of 10 million masks to the island's 15 so-called diplomatic allies. Is it linked to the American administration's recent attempt to raise Taiwan's international profile? What effect might these actions have on its relations with its cross-strait relations? I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Zhong Houtao, a researcher from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, and by our current affairs commentator, Einar Tangen. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. So, a total of 16 million masks, and the reality, I understand, is that masks in Taiwan are still rationed, although quotas were raised from each adult from 9 masks every 2 weeks to about 3 masks per week. So it's a slight increase, and they have to show their ID cards in order to purchase these masks. So Dr. Zhong, explain to us why these donations have raised questions on the island.
Actually, the situation in Taiwan is now much worse than you have imagined or have you described just now. For example, for Taiwan soldiers, there are altogether about 190,000 soldiers, but they could only share about 17,000 masks for every day. That means for each soldier, he or she could only get 1 mask for about 10 days. You could find that the Taiwan people, Taiwan soldiers are suffering for those masks. However, then you could ask, the question arises, why Taiwan authority could continue to donate those masks to foreign countries.
Dr. Zhong, before you go on, please tell us how credible these numbers are that you have just quoted, because we have seen a variety of different numbers. For instance, the daily production number, right? Some say 17 million, some say 13 million. There are 23 million residents on Taiwan, for instance. And actually, in February, the BBC interviewed a manufacturer in Taiwan who said that 90% of the masks produced in Taiwan came from the mainland. So how can we get a rather clear and true idea of the capacity of the mass production on the island?
As for Taiwan, I think production capability is about 13,000, about 1.3 million every day. And for every person, he or she could get or could buy 9 masks for 2 weeks. That means he could only get 9 for 10 working days.
Okay, but we are actually seeing footages of people lining up to buy masks. So however big the production volume is, it seems to be a fact that people have to show their ID cards, have to ration for masks. In contrast, I want to say...
Exactly.
Okay.
For Taiwan people, they could not get enough masks. Then a question arises, why could Taiwan continue to donate those masks to foreign countries? I think there are at least 3 reasons.
Okay.
One is just one to straight.
Yeah, before we go on to that, I do want to provide a little bit of a context here, because on the mainland, there is absolutely no ration necessary. People can actually sometimes get free handouts of masks, and there are 1.4 billion people, right?
And just this afternoon.
But the production volume is much bigger. Let me go to Einar. Einar, how do you see the situation? Why is this donation, this apparent goodwill gesture, causing some dissatisfactions, even more than that, on the island?
Well, it'll be more than just dissatisfaction if, in fact, there is a second wave and people start to catch this virus. I mean, Tsai Ing-wen is making a very calculated political gamble here that nothing bad happens and that her face mask diplomacy will work in her favor. Remember, Taiwan is facing a real situation. The IMF has just announced that a 6-point drop in what they expect their GDP to be next year. That would take it to -4%. That means they're going to lose 4% of their GDP. This is a country that has 70% of its GDP dependent on exports, 98% in manufacturing, and mostly in this high-tech chip area. So both cars and cell phones, if they're in fact affected, are going to hit very, very, very hard. So to take attention away from the economic situation, I think this is an attempt to make it political. And you see this also in the letter that her administration sent, basically accusing the WHO of everything that Donald Trump has also said, claiming that they somehow were in league with China, this type of talk. And this is after denying that death threats had been made against the head of the WHO, who's a microbiologist. I mean, he's not a political figure. He heads an entity that it's about saving lives. So definitely trying to push the political angle and to try to cover up any kind of economic deficiencies, but a big gamble in terms of people's lives.
Well, definitely Taiwan is not a country that is recognized by the great majority of countries in the world. That's not recognized by the world, by the United Nations, for instance. There is no Taiwan flag rising or flying in front of the UN headquarters in New York or anywhere in this world. But what is the connection between their donation of masks and what is happening on the island? Because we are seeing actually officials in Taiwan showing to the local people how to reuse face masks, how to sterilize, basically to put face masks in rice cookers so that you can use them 4 to 5 times. Why are they doing this to the local people? Because if you have enough masks, you don't do that. And this is not hygienic. This is not nice because it could pollute your rice cooker. And, you know, you shouldn't be doing that to face masks either. Dr. Zhong.
Yes, just as you said, it's really unscientific for them to reuse those masks just in those rice cookers. So that also shows that Taiwan is suffering a great shortage of masks. Then I think they return to the question why Taiwan authority continue to donate those masks to United States, to EU. One reason is just Taiwan authority just want to strengthen its relationship with the United States, with EU, with ASEAN countries. Since in Taiwan's mind, the relationship with the United States is much more important than Taiwan's internal affairs. Another reason is that Taiwan authority just want to consolidate its relationship with Taiwan's the so-called 15 diplomatic partners. For example, Paraguay and 4 countries in the South Pacific Islands, just in fear that those countries would abandon Taiwan. And the last reason for Taiwan authority to donate those masks is just want to show, to highlight Taiwan, to show that Taiwan is an independent political entity in the international community, or to participate in the WHO or WHO World Health Assembly. Anyway, for Taiwan, at least for now, she failed to achieve neither of those political purposes. For example, for United States, it will not change the nature of its relationship with Taiwan, no matter how many masks Taiwan donates to United States.
However, I want to chip in there because we have seen very different reactions as well. You know, when China donates a lot of masks or sends military assistance or even just normal trade relationship with other countries about these medical equipment, China is suspected of its intention. China is accused of trying to expand its geographical influence, whereas the donation from Taiwan is making Taiwan a true friend, according to some mainstream media. Einar, do you see something wrong there?
Well, it's just plain hypocrisy. I mean, this is. I mean, we all understand that Trump has decided that he's going to attack China in any way he can, even if it's through international organizations like the WHO. I mean, this is central to his political campaign to be re-elected. He has to find a scapegoat. He has to find an enemy. And China is the one to wear the black hat. It's not about being rational. It's not about being right. It's about repetition, getting helpful little allies like Taiwan to toe the line. That's really what he wants. He wants them to send these letters to WHO supporting him. He wants them to vilify China. And unfortunately, Tsai Ing-wen is basically painting herself in the corner. Remember, 2 million out of Taiwan's 23 million people live and work in mainland China. So it's not something that's going to go away. The economic health of the whole island depends on the mainland. So it's puzzling as to why the international community does not see the situation for what it is.
Again, not to say that it's not good to be sharing the limited resources you have with friends, but you do what you can. Again, on the mainland, we don't have a shortage of masks. That's why China is doing, on top of that, assistance. But when you have people lining up, rationing, have only a limited amount of masks, and then you are giving on a very regular basis to countries that have the capacity to buy, I guess that's why the local people are not very happy about the situation. But we have to leave it there. Many thanks to Dr. Zhong Houtao and to Einar Tangen. And with that, we come to the end of this edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin. As always, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter using the handle The Point with Alex. Thanks for watching. You've got The Point.